Hey guys, we're back. Yeah, just every week, guys, we're here. Obviously, we're here to talk about crypto and stuff, and not just everything in general, because everyone's got things they're doing right now. They got the day job, they got their normal life. There is a normal life out of crypto. Um, and obviously the crypto stuff, and so everyone's doing their own thing, right? Obviously, and we don't know what you're doing, because we're doing our own thing too, right? So it's like we're doing our thing. We don't know what you're doing, so that's why we're here to talk about it, our things. And if you want to talk about your things, you can come on as well, and jump in the chat or jump in the Discord. Um, but obviously, crypto is pretty quiet. Stuff that we hear in the tabloids is probably not a lot happening significantly that's going to move stuff. Okay, um, obviously there's the shit that's happening in Ukraine. The government wants more money now, to fund it, and then this stuff that just happened like a couple of days ago. They the stuff that's happening with Israel. The Hezbollah. They fired 5,000 rockets. These are like those Grad style rockets that were unguided rockets. They're like like a long rocket they put through a tube. They fired like over 5,000 of them into Israel, and they killed like a ton of people. Then there was a whole. So this is like a war. They basically said Israel. The Prime Minister of Israel says we are at war. And Israel, the thing with Israel is they've got tons of. They're only a small country, but they've got shitload of weapons, and they're really advanced weapons. And plus, they've got all of like literally all of the United States inventory, and they've got F-35. So America doesn't give away their best weapons to anybody, but Israel has all of America's best weapons. So yeah, it's another war, it's really screwed up at the moment. So there's a lot of stuff that's happening, obviously, in the world that is there. I wouldn't, just take it with a grain of salt, because it does consume you. Um, but then we got our own lives to worry about. What are we going to do? So that's what we're here to talk about. What about yourself, Garth? How's your week been? What's happening
Well,
in
it's nearly
your neck
been
of the woods?
as eventful as the rest of what's been going on. So yeah, it looks like I'm doing we got the move. You know how we're sort of moving shortly, so that's happening at a rapid pace. Probably in the next couple of
Oh,
weeks, finish packing, and then looking at doing a bit of a career change as well. So because I've been doing the e-commerce thing,
yep.
and now there's in the next few days we're given the opportunity to sort of expand on that. So looking at probably doing some services with the e-commerce. Don't know, but we'll give that a try. So yeah, a fair bit going on. And just to add to your point before about like you're talking about that war in possibly this war that's going to happen, right? Um, just how the price, sorry, the dollar, the American dollar, they just printed like a huge amount of money, right? And they just went into debt more. This was sort of to do with the shutdown. I think we talked about it sort of last week, but there was the government shutdown, and then there was, at the last minute they've printed more money, and this was sort of positive for Bitcoin, which jumped from 25 up to 27. But I heard it. I have to find the article, but the interest payments, right, on this debt now is so great that it's actually more than the entire budget for the US military.
You're kidding. That's the
Mm,
U.S. military is like 800 billion a year.
Yep. Yep. Whatever that figure is right now, right? Their repayments for these interest repayments is higher than the money they allocate to defense. Now, they allocate a hell of a lot of money to defense, right? But now the interest rates are higher than that. That shows you how screwed up it is, and it can only get worse. So, I mean, I don't know what's going to happen, but it's not looking good for somebody. You know,
And
that's all I can say.
this is what those politicians that run in America. They know that they can print more money just to get out of it, because all they're thinking
Yeah,
of is like, I just need to survive till the next term. I get
yeah. They don't
my
even think.
paycheck,
Do you know,
and I'm good.
22 years, America, the last 22 years, they have not made. You know how that they're always in a deficit. Yeah,
Oh yeah,
in the last 22 years, they've been in a deficit. Like in
yeah.
Australia, every like few years, one of the governments goes, "Ah, let's get in front," and they get in front, just by 1 year or something. But America, 22 years straight deficit, hasn't even got on top of it, and they will not. It's nearly practically impossible to do it. It's like it'd be like it'd be like us if had a credit card, and instead of paying 20% interest, it was off the charts. It was like 50 or 60%. And it just every day it was ticking over, and it was impossible for you to get on top of it because you just like work a normal job, right? So it's just inevitable that one day someone's going to say, "Oh, we want the money. You're bankrupt." Like that's what's going to happen to the US dollar.
I mean, the thing is, the US, yeah, I mean, they can print as much money as they want because they're like the most powerful country. No one's going to say anything, so they'll just keep on printing until something major happens, like bank collapses, major bank collapses. But yeah, I mean, it's pretty screwed up because
Yeah.
here we are. We're like, we're just like we're the people that are right at the end of it. We feel it because everything goes up, and then we feel it. We're the ones that got to pay the extra higher fuel, higher food. Everything goes up, but our wages don't go up. If you're working a job, your wages are not going up, but everything's going up. Rent is going up, and I can imagine the cost of living in Australia, let alone the cost of living in America. I know cost of living in Thailand's gone up, but I mean, imagine the cost of living in Australia must be going up. I mean, I'd hate to move back to Australia, but I mean, yeah, it must be crazy because the wages haven't gone up a lot.
Mm.
So
No, and even I heard on the other day that they were talking on the radio about like really wealthy people being really wealthy in Australia, and they're talking about the wages of wealthy people, and they considered that you're really wealthy if you're earning $250,000 a year. Now, what's hilarious is about this, right? is I don't know them personally, but I've heard stories of people who work for the government. Let's say they're in their police, special police sort of units or whatever. Those people work hard, years and years in their job or whatever. They get into positions and ranks, and what will happen is they might earn $250,000 a year, and then they'll pay $70,000 tax, right, and earn 180,000 net. Now, at 180,000 net, okay, for normal people, that's a fair bit. But if they're on their higher wages, they're probably paying higher rents, or they've got higher mortgages, they've probably got finer. They're probably not eating Devon. They've probably got, ham off the bone. They're probably leading and spending more than your average person. So really, and the fact is that they're still being eaten away by inflation and also taxation. And the governments are just insidious for tax. Like they've just announced another tax in another state, currently not in Queensland, but in Victoria. Victoria, that state. Whoa, yeah, just off the charts, that state. But they've just announced another thing that if any property is not being like let out or developed and rented out, they're going to charge for it. So 6 months, if it's not rented out, they're going to charge a tax on it, which is, I think it was equivalent to $5,000 a year or something like that extra. So the way the governments do it is they just go, "Oh, we got a problem here. Let's just tax somebody," and that's what they're going ahead to do. So importers in Australia just got the fees went up for importation. I found out last couple of months they were trying to bring in an import tax, like a levy on containers. Every container they were going to put a fee for the container. But if they did that, right, they would then across the board all the inflation would go up insane. But instead, what they did was they increased the basically the fees and charges for when you bring in. So when you make declarations and you bring anything over $1,000 into Australia, you've got to do all the declarations. All those fees went up by over 30%. So all this adds to the cost to bring imported goods into the country, which then causes inflation as well. So it's going to be like the government's just going to tax, increase stuff, and then inflation's going to happen. So it's not looking good for Australia.
Yeah, well, that's just going to mean, I mean, because I have a lot of experience in importing. That's just going to mean that that cost is just going to be passed on. So you're like I said, the dude at the end of the line, which is us, we're the ones that are going to be absorbing that. We're going to pay for that, and we're going to pay it with tax. We're going to pay that tax with money that we've already been taxed on. You know what I mean? It's ludicrous, but this is exactly what's going to happen. So, and they keep on making all these taxes because they need to, figure out raise more money to pay the debt, and then so they put it's like California. California is like really a place where you don't want to live. Stuff that I've been reading about it, and hey, here's tax. Next thing you do, you're walking along the street, there's a tax on that. It's just ridiculous, and that's what politicians do to try to. They make all these bullshit laws. About your vehicle, about your, so they're thinking their job is basically there to think of ways to tax us. Like, dude, you're in there to help us. You're supposed to be there to, fix the problems, but you're creating more problems for us. So,
that's government.
That's just.
Hey, there's another fun fact that I got this for you this week. Non-crypto related, but everything's related, right? Okay, so in Australia, there's like top selling vehicles. Okay, so a top selling model, right, was like the Ranger. The Ranger, top selling, like every month, just number ones. Like that's the common thing. It's like used to be Commodore, right? Well, now it was the Ranger. Well, now it's flipped. Now it is Toyota Hilux is now at the top, right? Followed by the Ranger in second position. But in third position, now there's a lot of cars sold in Australia and a lot of models sold in Australia. The list I had was about 100. It was actually more than that, but it was just the top 100. Can you tell me what you reckon the third most sold car model of car sold in Australia?
It's either Chinese or it's Isuzu.
Okay, neither. It's Tesla.
Wow.
Tesla, right?
That is insane.
There was 5,000 Hiluxes sold, about 5,000, just under 5,000 for the Ranger, and then it was about 3.5 for Tesla. Tesla, this is insane, right? Like there's so many cars sold, and these are new car sales, and this is last month. So Teslas are now in the top 3 of the cars. So if this continues, right, there'll be just more Teslas on the road, right? This is their latest Tesla Y. Now, what's interesting is the price. I think the price was 65K or 59K or something like that. And what happens is there is a government subsidy if you buy a Tesla. For $6,000.
We've seen this before. Yeah.
So if you buy a Tesla, you get $6,000 off the ticket price, and it just so happens that the Tesla comes under the ticket price. So in fact, if you buy a Tesla, it's cheaper than buying like a Hilux or a Ranger. Obviously, they're different vehicles, and they're not, one's a Ute, full drive Ute, and Tesla's, a Tesla. But more and more people have got solar. The cost of now, if people did invest in solar, and I'll give you an example, there's a couple of businesses that have Teslas with Tesla charging stations out the front of them. They own the Teslas and they own the solar panels on the roof, right? And they power up off the sun, put it in the batteries, and charge those 2 vehicles every day. So, in fact, other than the cost of investment of the actual, initial outlay, they have basically no cost during the business. So there's no outlay because it's just a big lump sum. And then when they get to the end of it, there's 2 things going to happen. The system's going to be failing after 10 years and they'll have to replace some stuff on the roof, or maybe it's longer, maybe it's 20 years, right? So they'll have to replace the solar panels and stuff like that. So that will happen. The vehicle, the Tesla, will be good until the batteries go.
Yeah.
Right. They've got apparently a 7-year warranty, 7 or 8 year warranty on a Tesla. And when that happens, I don't know if that covers the batteries or not, but when they finally die, those batteries die and no good anymore. That vehicle is useless because it has, as far as I know, it has no value because it costs, I believe, between 20 and 30K to get the batteries replaced in the Tesla. So it's like buying a car. Let's say you went and got a car on finance and it was 7 years. So let's say you bought a Tesla on finance for 7 years. You get to 7 years and you like finally own the vehicle, and then it's no good anymore because the batteries have died. So yeah, that is the problem. Let alone
there's going to be an industry that's going to that's going to basically come above, flourish because of Tesla secondhand. I mean, they're not going to be under warranty anyway. So it's like, well, fuck it. It's not under warranty. Throw us the cheapest battery you can. That's pretty economical. That'll last another. Because think about it. That Tesla, it can run forever. It can run for. Did you see that photo of that dude from Australia? He had a freaking car from the 1980s or something, 70s. It done 2 million kilometers, and he's there standing on the front of it like this.
Oh, yeah. Was it like a Corolla or something like
Corolla.
that?
It done 2 million kilometers, and I looked at it and I just thought, that dude is the smartest dude ever, because he paid for a car. What would have cost him $1,000 back then?
Yeah,
and he's just driven it. So it's, the car's probably costing him $50 a year. Well, apart from petrol.
Yeah.
So that's what you got to do.
Servicing on it. I know, it's insane.
Yeah, you just got to get a vehicle that's going to last you a shit long time. And that Tesla is like, because it's got no oil servicing or nothing. It's just got brake pads and probably like bearings. And they're not going to go for at least another 5 million kilometers. So, yeah. There's going to be like an industry that's going to come up that's going to be like, well, we'll replace your battery. The car's going to run for another freaking 5 million kilometers. You never need to buy another car. So, but it's crazy. It's just like in Thailand, it's all about Chinese cars. So they're flooding the market with Chinese EVs. And there's some of these things I've never even heard of. But there's a new one called Orca. It's quite nice. It looks like a VW modernized futuristic VW Beetle, but it's really nice. And I didn't know it was, and it's fast. It's freaking fast. And then there's Neta, these are the two most common ones, and they're like 650,000 baht, which is I think like under 20 grand. So all these cars are popping up in Thailand, but you got to be careful of the like you said, the battery, because once the battery's gone, what are you going to do with your car? It's not going to be worth shit unless someone can replace the battery. So, yeah, at the end of the day, we've got to figure out what we can do to try to, because we're never, like, you can't really beat, like, this system right that we're in. It's kind of like set up, right? And we're the people that are in it to sustain it, okay? So, and the people that are, like, rich, unless they like kind of like own the rest of the world, because then they dictate, because they're the ones that are at the top that are dictating everything down the bottom. Unless you own, billions and billions of dollars of businesses, then you're kind of like stuck like us. We don't own billions of dollars and have millions of businesses, $1,000 worth of businesses. So we're in this cage, right? So, and if you're just like a doctor, a lawyer, whatever, you're just the bigger rat in the cage, because your expenses are like you talked about that guy. He's making $250,000 a year, but his expenses are $100,000. He's now got he feels he's worth $180,000, $200,000 a year. So now he's got to get $1 million house, and then he's going to get a $500,000 car, or not $500,000, probably $100,000 car. So really, at the end of the day, he's probably only making 20 grand by the time he pays all these luxuries out that year. So, he's still another rat in the cage. So what we got to figure out is, we're going to be rats in this cage, but we've got to figure out, because we're never going to be able to escape the cage. All right, we're ever going to be in this cage. So, but what we can do is we can still live comfortably, and have money, have a good lifestyle, and all this sort of stuff. Eat healthy, be happy, all this sort of shit, right? Everyone wants, okay, and have a good life and be able to sustain our life. So that's what we got to figure out. So one way to do it, obviously, is to make more money, find a business, generate more money, buy more crypto, blah blah blah. Move to a different country where you got arbitrage, you got if you got some sort of income, or you got assets, or you got a job that you're working online, you're a freelancer, whatever, you're still making 60K or 50K a year. But now that you're now a freelancer and you work on your computer, or you're a programmer or whatever, you're making that money, but you got that arbitrage. You're in a country like Southeast Asia, South America, you got your laptop, your internet, and you're still making that money. But if you did it at home, it'll probably cost you $30,000 a year to live, right? Because you got to pay rent, you got to pay food. But now you still earn the same, but now because you've relocated to a different destination, now instead of costing you $30,000 a year, now it's only costing you $10,000 a year. See, so now you pocket the rest of the $20,000. And if you leave America, if you're an American citizen, you leave America, you got to earn. I think it's X amount. Well, it used to be like over 100K a year before they start taxing you. So, they're just like, well, that's why everyone's just fucking off, because they don't have to pay the taxes because they're now living abroad. They're paying less than the amount. So it's like some loophole there that the digital nomads, they know, or it's fully legal. So that's one way to do it. You try to create an income online, and you still pay your taxes and stuff, but you're just in a different country, and you dramatically and you pocket the difference every year. So just think about it. You're pocketing 20 or 30,000 a year for 10 years. You put it in. You might want to put it in super. I don't know what you want to do, but you could put some in super, and put some in other stuff, crypto and other stuff, right? So now you're kind of like, you're in this cage that you're never going to escape, but you're still, the pendulum's starting to swing your way because you're doing these little things. And one good way of doing it is, in my opinion, is crypto with Bitcoin, and just buy it and hold it. Don't do any stupid, crazy shit about, getting into these crazy stuff that people get into. Don't get me wrong, like we've done our fair share of crazy stuff, right? But at the end of the day, kind of, we're still here, right? We haven't lost everything. Billionaire Mark Cuban, he loses $870,000 in a crypto scam. This is probably the
that's funny. This
is what's that one? Crypto.com. I think it was FTX. It was one of them. So he was recommending all these peeps at Dallas, because he's like owner of Dallas Mavericks. So probably not a good thing, Mark. But he's got billions of dollars, but still, he lost that amount. Remember when he lost? Apparently, he lost like a couple $100,000 in Titan. And he publicly went public about it and said he lost a couple $100,000 in Titan. I think it was a couple $100,000, might have been less. But so he's still cruising. He still loves crypto, but he still loses money in crypto, and he's a billionaire. So so that's Mark Cuban. So I think he's made plenty of money, but the thing is, right, these billionaires are losing big money, right? So you got to be aware of that fact that there's people that are in crypto. If this is trying to get into legit stuff, if you don't get scammed along the way, it's really really dicey, guys. Really dicey. Okay, so I think French Bulldog was talked about this one here. So he said to check it out. It's called Moon World. And it looks like it's like a metaverse thing. Meme World is a place, the centerpiece of the brand, a virtual interactive platform where it all comes together. Shipping container homes are customized interactive servers. Okay. Chat. This is different. Okay. Shop, brand collabs.
Shipping containers. Wow, that's original.
So they're minting to 4,200 ETH based shipping container creatures. Okay,
Oh, they're not
container
even real containers. It's not even real shipping containers.
No, these are container creatures. I don't know what the container creatures are, but they're
I
going to
bet you they're like an
deploy.
NFT.
Yeah, they're probably an NFT. They're going to begin the production of a original Moon animated series, Moon
Oh,
Container Club, aka MCCS. So this is all fictional. Okay, great.
yeah.
This is
Now
all
I get
fictional,
it.
guys. See, so
Yeah.
um,
You know what? Honestly, how many? Look, we'll just be talking straight here, right? How many have you seen this metaverse have used? We're starting a season episode of some new series, blah blah blah, whatever that means. Could be a cartoon, whatever. I've seen that so many times. I don't know. They just keep rehashing the same concept here. Wow. Okay.
oh yeah, this is like straight up a playbook out of Netflix. It's got when when you watch Netflix, this really fucking annoys me. You watch the first episode, right? And then it
Yeah.
hooks you in, and then you got to watch the next episode. And before you fucking know it, you spend all day watching
Yeah.
all these bloody, and all of a sudden, right, you got the enemy against this enemy, and all of a sudden, then it twists. Now they're best buddies. Now they're swapping roles, and they're all killing each other, and then they're best buddies again. It really irritates me, and they do these plot twists purposely to annoy you, so then you keep watching, and so this is like this looks like it's anime style, different series, right? Which is creative. I'll give them that. And they're going to go on Apple, Spotify, and Amazon. And then they're going to mint them, so you can mint them for the full experience.
Yeah.
So very creative how they put this all together. And then OpenSea. Let's have a look at OpenSea. Okay, so the volume is 13 ETH. There's 3,142 collected. You can buy these things for 0.49 ETH, which is 0.49, probably about $800 each. 0.49, yeah, about $800 each. And then you can get involved, and you can buy this NFT that looks like a container with legs popping out of it. So look, guys.
But why? Yeah, why? Where's this price going to be in 12 months' time, 2 weeks' time?
You said it. Why would you put yourself through it? I don't know why. Like it's about like why exactly? That's just simple. Like why would you even do it? I mean, okay, you can get involved in the community. There's Twitter. They even got a TikTok. Okay, so let's go and have a look at TikTok. So look. All this sort of stuff goes well in the beginning. So look how they've done Twitter. Look, I'll give them props here. They got 5,000 followers, 37,000 likes. So see they're posted on Twitter. So they're good at marketing. Okay, they're good at marketing to get people interested in the project, and that's what you've got to do, right? Otherwise, no one's going to buy into these NFTs. But every time they sell an NFT, I mean, they're going to make $800 a pop. Thank you very much. Hey, we're probably in the wrong game. Garth, maybe we need to launch one of these.
They're selling it. Are they actually going to, produce it? You know what I mean? Like that's the thing. Like how many? Yeah. I've seen so many of these where they say we are going to produce something. You just give us the money, and then a year later they're not around. 6 months later.
Yeah. There's a lot of these projects that do this, and they'll just keep on stringing along and look, you've got to think of what's these metaverse things now, and we're not hating on you, French Bulldog, okay? Thanks for bringing it out to our attention, because then we can talk about these things.
We appreciate it.
Yeah, but we've seen this over and over again, like you wouldn't believe. I've got a headache just thinking about it because I've seen so many of them. What happens is it's like a bright shiny object. It's like a tulip. Everyone wants the tulip, and then once the everyone sells it. That's selling the last person to sell, because the whole point of this is to get you involved, get you hooked emotionally. And look, this is all marketing, right? But you have to really think about what's the long-term thing of this. Like, what is it going to go out in value? Like, how am I going to get my money back, or am I going to be able to make it a return on my investment? You know, where's this going? Is this just all BS? Like, that's kind of like me. For me personally, I would not invest in any type of thing like this because it's too sketchy. That's just me personally. You might like to get involved in this sort of thing, and you might like their messaging, you might like their cause, and you might want to get involved in this sort of stuff because you believe in the project, which is great. But at the end of the day, you're going to put money into it, and are you going to see a return? That's the question you got to ask yourself. So, yeah, might be a fun and interesting project. There's a lot of fun and interesting projects out there. We've seen a gazillion of them in the last 12 months in NFTs, or 2 years in NFTs. But look, at the end of the day, how many of them are still around? How many of them just died? Pretty much 99% of them. So, that's kind of like what you've got to factor in, and before you sort of invest in sort of money. But again, I'm just briefly looking at this, and I haven't done a deep dive into it, to be honest. But from what I'm looking at, it doesn't really get me excited. So that's just me. Sorry to say.
Yeah, I'm going to say, look, it falls in the category of Evan because we've seen it so many times. We don't want you to lose your money. You can invest in stuff like this. If you are going to invest in stuff, it's got to go back to what Warren Buffett says. First rule: don't lose your money, and that is like surely lose your money. Now, on a side note, remember I talked about elephant money briefly last week, and I said, "Oh wow, look at the price of elephant money." Well, that was last week, right? I'll just show you my screen just for the fun of it. This is just for giggles. Just let me share it up now.
Might say hello to OFG. Says, hello, good day, fellas. Cost of living's gone up. Yeah, we mentioned that. So, yeah, just say hello to those peeps. Sorry.
Yeah. So this is elephant money. So this last week was exactly the peak.
All-time high.
Yes. And that was the day I sold out all of my elephant.
Oh, wow. Hey,
I literally got off. That was the funny thing, right? Look how much it's dropped so far. But what was funny is as soon as I saw that chart, now, did you think I was like going, oh, I hope it goes higher? No, I don't think so. I got off the webinar and I just went straight in. I had to actually I forgot. It's been a while since I actually interacted with my MetaMask. Forgot my MetaMask password. Had to go back into old thing, import it because I got this. Always got the seed phrase offline. So got that, imported it, and then I went in there and checked how much elephant money, and it was like, wow, okay, this is really good. So I sold it all, and then I took the money straight out into my bank account, right? It's just great. And then what was funny was they have elephant money has a reflection thing in it. So it actually pays reflections. Well, because of the volume was happening at that time, it then paid reflections of basically more than what I originally had. So it paid another chunk of elephant money came into my account, into my thing, and then I resold it the second time at high time price. So I literally made a good chunk of money. I wouldn't say I was trying to think whether I actually got back my investment. Probably not, still probably, but that would have got back probably half my investment, I would suspect, from that little thing there where you see it. And that the thing is, you buy something when it's not popular and you sell it when it is, and the chart reflects when it was, which was then. So this is no different with Bitcoin. You buy while no one wants it, and then you're selling when everyone wants to buy it. As simple as that. But you got to buy things that are going to be around. I wouldn't say buy an elephant money may not be around, but Bitcoin's going to be around. If Bitcoin goes, we've got bigger problems. World War III, or loss of internet, chaos. I don't know, but yeah, that's why it's extinction event kind of thing. So that's why we're pretty good faith in Bitcoin.
You did the right thing. You took the profits. And this is what we've got to learn from the past. We don't get attached to these things emotionally. The money's there, all time high, bang, sell.
Bang.
We don't. You got to disconnect yourself from this, because at the end of the day, what Elephant Money did is pretty rare. It's pretty rare, because most of them do not reach all-time high again. They just die and that's it, never come back. But Elephant Money did. So yeah, you did the right thing.
Yeah, I mean, it still might go up. Who knows? Yeah, he's buying it for $800 dollars. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
I know, right?
I just don't see that project going anywhere with the that moon one. Just me personally. I mean, I mean,
we could probably talk about a whole bunch of projects that were similar to that didn't go anywhere. But there's no point. But we could talk about some projects that have raised money. We could have a look. Let's jump over on a DeFi Llama. I know I talk about this a lot, but there's always these projects are getting backed. They're going to most likely deliver on what they're going to do, because they're going to answer to people who actually, give them the money. They can't just give them the money and not do it. They almost go to jail for that sort of stuff. But let's have a look. I'll quickly jump over I'll show you what's happening here. Share screen. And we'll go into raises. Let's have a quick look. So, I mean, look, there's not really a significant amount of money here, because there's a couple of million. But have a look at these projects. So next Gamey, it's like a seed round, backed by Polygon Ventures, 3.5 real world asset perpetual stacks. There you go. So like an exchange, but real world assets. Fair Block infrastructure. Okay, 2.5 million, 9.7 million. That's quite a bit. Cicadia, non-custodial crypto lender. Interesting. Okay, so they got a few. That's a fair bit of money. So their product's probably going to come around, and all these ones may not have coins yet, right? They probably will. You probably have to use the product. They probably have airdrops, which we've seen in the past. 7 million there for Favor, something like that. Web3 onboarding platform. There you go. 7 million. And it's just, there you go. Circle Ventures, layer 1 blockchain, burnt. That's an interesting one. Let's have a look at that. Burnt. Circle Ventures launched on Exion public testnet. The first block layer, USDC. So there you go. So something like this is backed by a big player. They looks like they're doing an actual blockchain themselves, and the primary transaction is going to be USDC. There you go. So that's interesting to look at. So yeah, we might come back to that later, but who knows? That one there might turn out to be something. Let's see if they've got a website. But this is where you just follow the money. People don't invest in this stuff unless they're going to produce, a result, and that's what's going to happen. So check them on xion.burnt.com. Now, whether or not it actually, yeah, go on.
Layer 1, you're sorry. Go ahead. It just says first layer 1.
Yeah, layer 1. Like, it's not a layer 2 running. It's actually a layer 1. But because they got money, this will be a thing, right? They'll actually, and they got Circle's got money behind it. There's the other people. Wow, checkout.com. So they got some big partners and stuff like that, and they got the money to fund it. So when they do that, that usually means that they're going to have a product at the end of it. This might be 3 years, I don't know. Whatever the time period is, they're going to have a product at the end of it, and there'll be a token, and you can possibly buy that token or get airdrop that token. So that's where the opportunity is for that sort of stuff. So you're sort of backing the people that are backing these companies. So you don't have to be very smart. You can just follow where the money goes.
Yeah, and look, that doesn't always work out, but you're kind of like leveraging those Those we saw this with ICOs. Okay, when all those big okay, but I admit it was a bit of a free for all. Everyone was just jumping in, and we were throwing money at stuff and still doubling our money. At worst, we were doubling our money. Like at the really worst, 5xing, 10xing, 20xing, like it was crazy. So, but that's what we did. The strategy we did then was we followed all the top fintech companies and the investment companies that they were going into it. So that was like we were just following that trail because we knew that they had big money and they were the backers behind it. So we're like, well, we don't want it. They're not going to get into a scam because they've done their due diligence, and we're just going to ride on the back of that, leverage on the back of that. That's exactly what we did with ICO. So yeah, it's a good way to kind of like hedge your bet because it is a bet at the end of the day. Now there was another one that French Bulldog, 4 ETH. There's no way I'd invest 4 ETH into that project. Gala Games. I haven't been. I've sold Gala, but I haven't looked at it, to be honest, in the last few months, if I'm honest. But if we go and have a look at it, I mean, yeah, it's gone down a bit. Apparently, they're doing some movie thing last time I saw. Or they're doing all sorts of stuff. So if you still believe in Gala, probably a good time to buy in because it's down. But yeah, I haven't looked into Gala. To be honest, I mean, I look at Gala like Axie Infinity. I know they're kind of building an ecosystem, but I know it's really difficult with games, man. It's a hard play because I know they've got multiple games and they're more of like an ecosystem, and they keep on bringing out new games. But yeah, I don't know. It's a hard one, this one with Gala. So I mean, they should do well long term because they've got some smart people behind it. But are you willing to put the money to go into it? Yeah, that's kind of like the question you got to ask yourself. So I've sold my Gala, to be honest. So, but yeah, we'll keep a track of it. There was another one there that Finney talked about, and I just did some quick research on it just to make it short because there's no point talking about it now because let me just see entire screen because the website's down, which is kind of odd. Now I went to hang on, stop. I've got to share the full screen, share, and entire screen. Okay. So yeah, he said, check out Metaverse Alliance. And I know you probably were going to talk about this one, Garth, but I had a quick look at it and I was like, this is a bit sketchy. And they hear they're saying that's cooperated with all these big names here, lending funds such as, but anyway, when I went to the website, it's no longer up. And I'm like, oh, okay, that's a bit strange. So this is what happens, right? This is because it's on Crypto News. Investors probably think, oh wow, it's on Crypto News. So but this is a press release. See, you can see it here. This says that this is a press release. Anyone can get onto here. You just got to pay the money, and they'll
That's right.
Put your project. Now, hopefully, it's not a scam. But scams. This is how scams can get onto these big publications like this. So anyway, I had a quick look, and it's got all this stuff that looks appetizing. I went to the Twitter. Oh, sorry, not Twitter, X. I went to their X profile and it doesn't exist. So the website doesn't exist. The profile doesn't exist. I don't know. For me, it's pretty red flags here. It's pretty sketchy. So, I just wouldn't even touch this thing. So I don't even know what it's. I mean, I can't even read about it because everything's down. So there's the answer. It just, I don't know what happened to it. So can't really talk about it. And even then, I wouldn't even touch it. So maybe it was a big thing back then, but I don't know what's happened to them. They probably disappeared. Who knows? So that's that. That kind of solves that question. Finney? So if you invest in it, I hope you didn't. Its website's not even up. So yeah, that's dead set giveaway there. When there's no website and there's no Twitter, it's what's happening. It's like,
Yeah.
oh, it's not a scam. It's funny though because I'm still on Facebook, right? Until this day, I still see these people and they still get involved in these scams. And I was talking to another Facebook friend of mine, and he's like messages me, and he's like, the way they justify it is they say that they blame other things, right? So that's why they get into these scams because we're talking about these Ponzi's, and usually a lot of these scams are like crypto related. So they they create this fake coin. They're going to pay you this miraculous payout, and it's like a daily payout, which doesn't happen. And then it's like a forex scam, right? So it's like they've got this magical AI. This is the buzzwords, magical AI bot, right? It's so magical that it's going to give you 1% to 2% per year per day, right? It's so magical, like not even the best traders in the world can do that, right? But it's magical AI, so people believe it because it's AI, and it's this magical forex bot. Like, come on. Anyway, so people still join this stuff, and they get people involved in it, and people get burnt, So, but he was saying that the way they justify it is, they blame it on the government, they blame it on other things, to justify getting into these scams because they were just, like, dude, you can't blame other things in your life to then, go into these scams to justify that you're doing like a shady shit. It's just, it's so weak. It's so weak and pathetic. What these people, their logic behind it and the way they think of it. Well, the government's not helping me. They're not cutting me a check. They're not paying my rent. So I'm going to go join some MLM scam, and I want to scam some people so that I can get my money. It's like, dude, like, come on. How do you, dude, start a real business? Go get a job. I have more respect for people that go and get a job, a day job, than to get on some online and scam people out of some AI bot. I mean, there's that's weak. It's lame. But this happens every day, every single day. So I don't know. I just some of my thoughts on it. I don't know. That's probably the gist of what I've got to share. I don't want guys don't want to keep me rambling all the time, on and on. But if you have any questions, let us know, guys.
For sure. These you know how before you said there was stuff going on with Israel and that. I'm like, I haven't seen anything, right? And I'm like, okay.
It's bad.
I get on Twitter. I just loaded up Twitter, and I'm like, oh
no, Garth. It's X. Okay, it's not Twitter.
Sorry. It still says Twitter up the top. It still says Twitter up the top.
So Elon Musk, how long has Twitter been going? Like 10, 15 years or whatever. So all that brand recognition, the name that it's got, the value that it's created over the decade and ago, and now he just switches it to X. So all that brand recognition is now to X. It's gone because he changed the name to X. Anyway, I thought I'd throw that in.
We'll see. But I just saw like 5 minutes worth of Twitter feed, and I'm like, oh wow, that looks like another war. I mean, it's not just like, oh, fired some rockets. The footage I've seen in the last 5 minutes is just like the footage with Russia and Ukraine. There's a full-on war going on right now, and it's obviously going to escalate way out of the thing. So well, there's always money to be made in wars. Banks love that, so they're going to be doing well. And US love wars, and usually every time there's a war, fuel goes up, price of fuel. So at the moment we're paying $2.30 here. So we'll see how that goes up during the war. Wow, fascinating.
Oh, shit. Yeah, I'm just looking at it on Twitter. Oh, X, sorry. I'm looking at X now, and it's got like this police officer shooting these Israeli tourists. So this is like bad because I mean it's a long brought out of trying to justify and how, but basically it's like the Israel came along and I know this is probably not. I probably shouldn't say this, but because it's not all right. But from what I understand, Israel came along, took the lands from other people that were that had occupiers, kicked them out, and then put them in this other section called Gaza and a few other places, and another 2 separate sections, and then because that's our holy land, it's our land. So they're pissed off, and they're Muslims, and Israel are Jews. So now they're back to buy a couple of other big Muslim factions, biggest one being Iran, that's given them the weapons that are now fighting. So it's like, a holy war kind of thing, and it's gonna get nasty.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the word.
Yeah, you wouldn't want to be over there doing holidays right now. I actually saw one video. Well, I'm not going to go too much into it. I saw one video where there's a rave party going on, and paratroopers are coming in the background. And the paratroopers were like killing people when they landed, I believe. So it was like they're all having a festival. Yeah. And in the sky behind them is paratroopers. Unbelievable.
Yeah. Well, see, I think the thing with the Hezbollah, it's going to be like a guerrilla war for them. They've got apparently they got like 40,000 fighters. They're all like, you can imagine them like guerrilla warfare, like ISIS style. What do you call it, with the AK, with the rocket launcher 7, RPG 7? That's the staple, very formidable weapon that can still take out like a tank. It's a handheld rocket launcher, and AK-47s. Someone's going to make some money. The Kalashnikov company's going to make a ton of money because they need they need to get their AK-47 sales up. So yeah, it's going to be good for someone. Someone's going to be making a ton of money, like you said, and they've got all these fighters that are going to stream into take Israel. But apparently Israel's got like 200,000 normal, regular army, and then another 200,000 reserve. But the thing that Israel has got is they got like tons of weapons, tanks, drones, everything. Basically, all the US inventory, they got access, or they have it already. So, and they got drones. They're pretty advanced of drones. So it's going to get pretty bad. So I expect to see shit hit the fan.
Yeah. There was also with X now that they've actually apparently got real-time streaming video. They've been working on that video for a few months now, and now I saw something that you can do full-length videos now. I think you got to pay for premium or whatever, but they're basically, he was saying, like, everyone is like a journalist, like everyone can be a news reporter for their area. That was like one of the things he said recently. And I thought, wow, that's interesting. Like, instead of like just waiting for news, you report the news. And it might be, I know it was sort of a thing, but maybe it's the platform that people will do it. It'd be interesting. Like, like this afternoon, a police chopper came over and there was police sirens. And, if I got out the old X, I could have got the phone and shone up there and said, oh, look, there's some stuff going on in the neighborhood. So, yeah, I mean, if he's encouraging people to do that, people are going to use it more. And I've seen a lot of people that are on Facebook actually moving to X because, I don't know, they're actually getting growth, they're getting exposure, which is interesting. And I suppose it's the same with why, they go to TikTok. How you've talked about TikTok previously. It's the same sort of reasons, getting exposure. But when you're on platforms where they're not going to have that growth, then why would you? Like, Facebook's not going to keep growing because it already dominates the space. So it can't keep growing. So you've got to have like new players in that are growing to get up to that stage. And then there'll be another platform come in.
Yeah, apparently X pays you. People are making like decent money. Like, this is what I've heard. One guy posted his thing and he made like $500 or something, posting stuff on his profile. So they pay you. That's why people are and since now it's rebranded, since Elon Musk has been taken over, that's why people are getting in it now, because they're getting paid. So Facebook doesn't pay you, so that's part of, I guess, what's driving it. I mean, you could probably search it. I don't know what you'd search, but yeah, people are actually really getting paid from this stuff. So you'd have to do some more research on that one. But
I think they're sharing that premium. A lot of that money's coming back, so that's interesting. And they hadn't done that. I think it's only recent that they've actually done that, because they started the premium subscription, but now they're sharing the revenue. So yeah, it's pretty wild.
Yeah, I'm just looking at it now. It's just got people post their stuff, and it's not massive money, but still, someone that's in India gets a $500 paycheck. That's pretty good money for them. But anyway, so yeah, just keep an eye on those things. I mean, obviously, don't get too consumed in it, but I mean, it all kind of, it's like anything, right? It's like this is how I see it. It's like your body, right? Your body's just normal, but if you've got like your hand, it's got like chopped off and it's got gangrene, eventually it's going to take over you and you're going to die. So that's what it's like with all this stuff, with crypto and everything. Like, shit that happens in the world is going to affect it, and it's all linked. Everything's sort of linked because we all live in, like, we're all in the world together. It's all linked. So it's good to know about it, but yeah, just I wouldn't get too involved in it.
Don't let it consume you. That's exactly right.
Yeah, and with the stuff that we do with the crypto, I personally wouldn't be going into any new projects unless it's something that's legit or got tons of money and it's got like real people behind it and real companies behind it, that have a good track record. That's basically it. And that's not going to happen with meme coins. It's not going to. I mean, if you go into the stuff, just expect it to not go anywhere. I mean, you can still make money with meme coins, but it's so sketchy that you're likely going to lose your money. More chance of losing your money. So, yeah, to be honest, man, the best play, the OG way to do it and to not lose all your shit is to buy and hold. That is the OG. That's the Warren Buffett strategy, and that's what it's worked and has happened, forever. And you just got to wind the clock back to 2017 when everything was cheap as chips. And you look at it now. We're talking, things were freaking cheap. Solana was just going. Polygon was like 1 cent. BNB was like $18, $10. Bitcoin was like $600. And that's the OG. That's the OG move. Buy it all that back then, and then now look at it. It's worth thousands. People become millionaires. So, that's what you got to do. You buy it now, and then you hold it. And we talked about before. Even Ian Bellina said this. You buy all the layer ones that are small, because they're the ones that are going to increase the most, and then you hold it. You hold it for the next 4 to 5 years until the next bull run, and then you sell it. So that's the strategy you got to do. So layer ones, we talked about them all the time. Polygon, Solana, Avalanche. You could even buy Radix. You could even buy ICP. There's tons of them out there. Just go and have a look at the top 20. They're in your face right there. Buy them up. Litecoin, if you like Litecoin, even Dogecoin, Bitcoin Cash. If you like Shiba, I don't know. It just becomes kind of like what you like, Stellar. But just try to stick to the main blockchains. Okay, you want to stick to the layer ones or the layer twos that have been around for a long time, because they're the ones that are going to go up. Arbitrum, Near Profile. There's Mantle and Aptos. They're ones that are kind of like pop off. XDC. Render's still going up. That's going up, still $1.83. So that continues to go up. There's tons of I haven't got my screen on there, but I'm just looking at the off screen where you guys can't see. but yeah, that's the play. That's the play. So anyway, I don't know if there's anything else you might want to share. We're sort of getting up towards an hour now, which is going pretty fast.
I think we've covered it. It's as I said, there's not too much happening, but we've just covered some of the little things. I'm glad some people had some questions for us to talk about some projects. That was really good. I really appreciate that. Even though it might not have been exciting what we said, it's just this is our opinion of it, because it doesn't mean it's right. It's just our opinion. That's all.
Yeah, that's right. It's just our opinion. I mean, you guys, any questions, just post it into the Discord, and even though we've got a free Discord there as well, just post it there, and we'll talk about it, and give you our thoughts. And you can come on like here as well. It's free. You can come on and talk and tell us what you think.
Yeah,
and we'll tell you what we think.
Yeah.
So other than that, mate, hope the move is good. I know it's always painful to be moving, but it's got to be done.
Yeah.
And I'm glad I don't have to move anymore. But I remember when I was, growing, I was still in my 20s, I moved probably about 15, 20 times.
Wow, you're like a professional at it.
I was a professional. That's why I got my shit tight. I had my mattress, I had my laptop, I had a few other my clothes, and I could fit it all onto a rented ute, which I'd go down to the rent ute place. I can't remember what it was called, but I'd rent a ute, and then I'll put it all in one load. I could put my mattress over because it was a big ass mattress, but I could carry it by myself, and that's it. I had it so down pat that everything that I would buy, I would think about before I bought it. I would go, I'm gonna have to move one day, and if it's like a big ass desk and shit, I'm not gonna be able to move this thing, so I won't buy it. So I just don't buy it. So that was my whole thing back then.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Cool.
Guys, have a good week, and we'll see you in the Discord, and if not, we'll catch you guys next week. So have a good week, and talk to you then.
Bye.
Catch you.